Hey, this is Peter. Tonight I'm in Hudson Yards in New York City and at the new Vessel building. And what I'm talking about tonight is structure in film. So, what is your film structure? Is it basically a, 3-act structure like you believe, like we're all taught to kind of do? Or is it maybe a 10-act structure? Maybe it's a 20-act structure. Maybe you do whatever the fuck you like and you don't give a shit about structure. This is the video for you because really, I hate the term structure. I hate the, idea of formula. I hate the idea of some kind of, plan which you do from the storyboard and then kind of build again and again and again until you actually come up with something that you're going to go shoot. I actually prefer to just go out, shoot something. Yeah, there is a plan. There has to be some kind of plan. Maybe... Does it include a storyboard? Well, yes, I have used storyboards in the past. You should use storyboards as well. Maybe just drawings instead of photographic storyboards. I've done a lot of it. I've shot photographic storyboards, drawn them out. I've done them on Photoshop with little stick men and shapes. And really what that highlights is a need to have some kind of plan in place, have some kind of idea of what we're going to shoot when we get here. If I planned for this shot, for example, I would know that I would have to probably be on the left side of the frame or the right side of the frame, and the building would have to be behind me. I can't exactly cover the building and expect a good shot to happen, so it's got to be like this. Now, with a different type of lens, also which you can't imagine, and imagining what type of lens you're going to use with the actor in frame, what height they're at, and then imagining I don't know whether you're going to be on this side of the road, that side of the road, whatever. You can't do this, and even if you do a photographic storyboard, you're still going to have trouble actually recreating that shot on the day. It's the, it is the trap for a reason, because you come to the shoot with the photographic storyboard in mind, the lighting's different, so already you're not going to get what you want. Secondly, you're never going to be able to get the exact centimeter distance, the exact millimeter, the exact height, XYZ axis, in order to get the shot that you had planned. Thirdly, things could change in the background, construction signs could be there, so you're really chasing a car that's already getting away from you. And it is much better just to come knowing that already and position your camera in a place which just works on the day and works for, then you've got the film in mind, not some kind of plan in mind. The same applies to a script, is what I'm saying. So you write out a script, you have a plan, you do the research for months and months, maybe years sometimes, on a particular subject that has come from dreams or memories, and I'm just doing what I suggest you should do, especially for your first films, before you're working with people. It is easier that way. And so you're writing the script from the months and years of research that you've done, and then you're trying to make that a shooting script. You're trying to shoot the script. Maybe you wrote it with the shooting of it in mind. Maybe you wrote it as a kind of novel and expected, someone else to, maybe the DOB, to kind of figure that out for you. And all of those are perfectly fine ways of working. We all have our individual ways of working, but I believe that the more kind of control that you let loose to someone else, the kind of more difficult it'll be to release some kind of, to show your own artistic individuality. So you've got to do as many roles as possible yourself without understanding the need. You have to understand the need that we need to have a collaborative effort, that you can't just do this by yourself. Sure, you can come out and make videos on a tripod in front of any kind of nice building, but you can do that by yourself, but even that's a struggle. So there has to be some kind of plan. Now, it's my belief that just as standard, no human being has the ability to write the perfect script. I doubt any human being could write Chungking Express and pull it effectively off, the way in which it was finalized. Sure, you can plan to shoot at Chungking Mansions at night, you can run around with a camera, French New Wave style, but you can't actually plan for those artistic impressions. That would be like planning to paint the Mona Lisa, like doing a storyboard of the Mona Lisa, or doing a storyboard of even a landscape by Monet or something. That there has to be some kind of freedom to it. There has to be some kind of allowance for the process to dictate where you're going to go. And that isn't losing your artistic integrity. That isn't losing control. That's being fully aware of that your artistic integrity is going to be put under the pressure of, are you able to lean into it? Are you able to adapt to your changing environment, your changing atmosphere? You know, I have to adapt to the fact right now that the sun is going down very quickly. Am I going to change camera angles, or am I going to get the job done before it goes down? Well, I'm going to try and get the job done before it goes down. So you see, you know, time pressure is always a constraint. Always you've got to compromise, and always you're going to have to carry that basket and sacrifice something in order to get what's actually important, which is usually, in this case, the content. In the case of your films, what is it? Is it the character that's important in that scene? Is it the location, atmosphere? Is it the cinematic language, which is important? Is it the texture that's important? Is it maybe a vital story element that needs to get across in this one moment, or the whole piece fails? Usually people rely too much on story, they rely too much on plot, they rely too much on making one scene as a bridge to another scene, rather than maybe the Tarkovsky way, which is to just be a little bit poetic and free about it, and to just capture good content like David Lynch. Like, every single scene, every single shot even, is on its own a beautiful piece of art and poetry. And then all added together in one kind of mosaic equals something that is greater than the sum of its parts. And that is a great way of working. It's the way which I've started working, using dreams and using memories and using things from your past in order to create some kind of story from that and go from there. That's how Blue Velvet was created. That's how, you know, it's not just David Lynch which would do this. You would find this in even Martin Scorsese would do this sometimes. It is, you know, as and when you need it, a kind of tool in your toolbox. So the more directors' first films that you're going to see when you're starting out, if you're just watching films or if you're already making them, you're going to see that a lot of your favorite directors, their first films were shot in a particular kind of French New Wave kind of style, this guerrilla filmmaking, this rebel without a crew kind of filmmaking idea. A lot of them shot that way because they had no option. You also have no option, although it'll be a little bit different for you, and the only way of figuring it out is to go through it, to go through the process. So get moving, stop watching this and go out and film something, not on a shitty iPhone or a shitty camera, you know, a shitty DSLR like I've got. Go out and rent a camera and use it that way and learn the struggles about making films professionally and do it that way. I'm not trying to be purist about it. I'm just saying that there is a realistic struggle for making quality films with a proper light sensor, with proper attributes which, say, a C300 or a Red is going to have, or a Sony FS, whatever the fuck, rather than shooting on a DSLR or shooting on an iPhone, because one of these is thinking like preserving and respecting the nature of film. And yeah, you could say, well, why don't I just shoot on film? Well, one of these is, you know, realistic, and the other one is a bit pricey. And, you know, we'd all love to do all that, you know, really professionally. That's why we do it. So we don't all want to shoot on a fucking iPhone and make a film that way. But sometimes, if you really can't afford it, you might have no choice. So just get out and do something sometimes. Try and shoot on a semi-professional camera. I love the C300. I always fucking use it. I always use the Red as well. So what you're going to notice about your favourite director's first films is that in the first 10 minutes, they've got the story already out there. They've got the characters. And I know I just said that you shouldn't have, you know, be focusing on story, but sometimes, you know, it's important to. And so, you know, if everything was poetic and experimental, that's not as entertaining sometimes as a good story. It's sitting around the fireplace. It's what we as human beings love to experience. So get out there and do your best stories and do your best characters and bring them to the table. Just by shooting the characters and shooting actors improvising, you can make a story out of that. So that should tell you that you can use your dreams, you can use your memories, and you can use just the characters to make a story. You don't have to even write a script, although we do recommend it. Why? To have some kind of order to the chaos. We're fighting chaos with order. Do you storyboard your films, or do you just leave it to when you turn up on the day where you're going to put it? Well, you do a bit of both is the honest answer. You have a bit of order with a bit of chaos. The chaos is so you can have that artistic freedom to do, and the creativity that gives you the realms to do whatever the fuck you want in this life, in this area, in this world. Go out, take a camera and shoot something. But the order is so that you have that controlled sense of creativity, the restrictions, the boundary box, the sandbox for you to play in. Otherwise, the plan is all over the place, and then every time you want a really good shot, it gets dark, or every time, you just run around the city with a camera, and all of it is like garbage collecting. There's no purpose to it, no intention. You get back to the edit, you might have 800 hours of footage like I did, and yet you can't use any of it. Why can't you use any of it? Because it doesn't work within the context of your story anymore. It might be your atmosphere, which is great. It's great that you're thinking like that. It might be the atmosphere that you've shot completely in your city, but it doesn't work because there's no story, there's no actual character progression, there's no journey to it. And do we care that much about journey? Well, yeah, we care a little bit. We care as much as we don't just want to watch a film of just, random garbage collecting, random, nothing on screen. We want to watch something with a little bit of character, a little bit of purpose, and that takes us into a trance. I mean, it is the perfect counterbalance to atmosphere, to, enjoy yourself in a great way. Imagine Goodfellas without the characters. If it was just the background locations, it would be a pretty boring film if it was like that.